The year is 2050. You wake up, open the window, and quickly shut it. As smoke from wildfires fills the air, this was supposed to be a safe place. Canada, after all, high altitude far from rising temperatures. But nothing feels safe anymore. Your smart assistant chimed in. We need to evacuate in 2 days. A century-level flood is coming. You sigh, watching as your home shifts into evacuation mode. Compact winds extending, ready to take off, roll out and raft the waters. Your son looks up at you, frustrated. Another cancel game? Again? It's the third time in a row this month. His football plans has been disrupted. Sure, he can play on virtual reality, but that's not the same. It's never the same. Then your partner walks in, holding a tablet, saying in the headlines, CO2 levels just hit 500 parts per million, 500 ppm, he says. His voice is calm, but you both know what that means. Another breaking point in a world that feels like it's constantly breaking.
And it's linked to climate change.
Last year saw the fastest annual rise in the concentration of carbon dioxide.
There are concerns that governments will reject more drastic measures to cut carbon emissions.
This year is effectively certain to be the hottest on record.
How climate change plays a role.
And governments have to act now against climate change.
But here's the thing, the future isn't inevitable. It's 2025 right now, and the choices we make today will define what kind of world we wake up to tomorrow. Let me tell you why I've dedicated my life to working in climate and why you should too. Hi, I'm Lydia. I'm a banker turned entrepreneur. I haven't shared too much about my climate journey with you, so this is the video I will tell you all about it. So my journey into climate actually started way before I realized it. It was back in 2017. I attended this conference called One Young World in Colombia, Bogota. I remember I took 40 hours of flights from Hong Kong to Colombia and back again. That was actually the first time I heard people talk about this term called the UN Sustainable Development Goal, UN SDG, again and again in the 3-day conferences. And at the time, I was with a whole bunch of other young people. This One Young World conference that gathered 1,000 young people every year just to talk about this UN SDG goal. And they have achieved what they want to. Listening to all those people, young entrepreneurs, world leaders like Kofi Annan, I don't really remember a lot of the details, but that actually has planted a seed in me. I remember sitting in the room listening to those Forbes under 30 people and thinking about my life. It feels like a distant dream, something that maybe I would never be able to work on, something that I'm passionate about that can actually have a purpose. At the time, I was working in banking in Hong Kong. Every day, what I know about is I need to submit another version of PowerPoints, fix one number on Excel, or even just to reply another emails for the sake of moving some deals forward. I really cannot make the very direct relation of what I was doing compared to the impact that those huge billions of dollars of deals that actually is impacting the world. Eventually, now I look back, I understand all those deals happens to make the world that we live in actually functioning. And also, in an indirect way, some money did go to these kind of sustainable development goals, but I didn't know back then. So I was like, I really wanted to do something more than just numbers, creating more meaning. Fast forward a few years, I moved to London. By chance, I stumbled across this opportunity to join a team in banking that we focus on climate technology companies. And all of a sudden, everything clicked. I changed the plan. I was supposed to go to New York. I didn't go to New York. I stayed in London and joined the team. Eventually, that was the first time in my entire life I remember working in banking that I actually felt like I was living in the year that we are now, because I'm seeing all of those groundbreaking, cutting-edge technologies, all of those terms, electrolyzers, hydrogens, carbon removal, sustainable aviation fuel, nuclear energy, and all of those terms feels once so remote, and all of a sudden I can see hydrogen buses everywhere. I can see hydrogen cars even when I was traveling. I was learning so much about the future and the technologies. There's so many people working day and night to really make the technologies work. That was a very exciting 2 years. The life threw a curveball at me. Earlier last year, I left the team because of restructuring. At that time, I had a choice whether I go back to what I know as just pure banking without a sector focus, or I can tap into this climate identity and keep it going. I made the choice. I told myself I am going to be a climate person, and this identity become my one non-negotiable identity. I decided I'm going to hold on to life. A few months after talking to many people, I reached out to people who are actually working in these climate technology companies. I went through an accelerator, understand what it takes and why people should do a startup, whether is it fit for me, and decided I should just give it a try. So fast forward, it took longer for me to actually get here. I'm now working on my own startup. It's not easy, but I have never felt so fulfilling and so driven than ever before. So making the impact the way that I wanted using my knowledge and experience, I really think that should be the thing that everyone can do. So when the opportunity presents itself, after I've done some soul searching and talking to so many people, it just feels so natural. It feels like that's the natural next step I should take. So this video, I am going to tell you how you can take that leap as well. But before that, let's talk about why do we have this problem? Climate crisis. It's January 2025. There's already historic level of wildfire in LA.
New fire.
Huge fire and a fast-moving fire. New wildfires have erupted in Southern California. More danger for a region in desperate need of a break.
The devastation is complete and just jaw-dropping.
There's no water. I can't save my house.
Actually, climate change, not just global warming anymore. It's like extreme climate weathers and stuff. But we need to go back to the very, very beginning. It's the number 59. 59 gigatons of greenhouse gas emissions. So 59 gigaton is the total number of greenhouse gas that human beings emit every single year. It's a massive number. One single gigaton is 1 billion metric tons, and 1 metric ton equals 2,205 pounds. Okay, that doesn't really bring anything I understand. So 1 gigaton is actually the weight of 10,000 loaded aircraft. That's 1 gigaton. And we emit 59 of those into the atmosphere every single year. So each sector of the economy actually contributes to this problem. But the exciting thing is that each sector also has its own solutions. And here's what Speed and Scale lays out. Oh, trust me, this is like the ultimate cheat sheet that you need to break into climate and understand what people are doing in climate technology sector. So first of all is electrify transportation. That's 8 gigaton. That's around 13.6% of the total 59 gigaton of emissions. And picture fleets of EVs, bikes, buses in the future, maybe electric planes as well, replacing gasoline engines. Imagine sitting at your Uber using the electric cars, and that's not just about the emissions, it's about breathing clean air every day. And the second part is decarbonize the grid. 24 gigatons is really, really a lot. It's like 40% of the total emissions of 59. This one is really huge, right? The grid is basically wherever we get the power and energy. So it's about replacing fossil fuels with solar, wind, and zero emission power, such as like in the future, maybe hydrogen, maybe nuclear, or some other new breakthrough technologies in the field. And then is how we eat our food. Fixed food is 9 gigatons, is 15.3% of the total emissions. Did you know that your cheeseburger has a carbon footprint? But it's fine. Everything we eat that arrives, even if you eat tomatoes that have carbon footprint. Depends on how you transport it to you and things like that. It all comes with a carbon footprint. It's not to say that you cannot eat a certain type of things, but maybe just think about, for example, me, I try to eat more white meat and locally produced food, plant-based meal, and the diet that has less red meats, actually, according to a lot of resources and people that I know. For myself, I feel much, much lighter when I eat lighter diets. The next thing is protect nature. It's 60 upon 10.2%. This is a lot better for our forests, oceans, and soil, how we can protect it better, because then all of these work as an ecosystem can actually help us to protect the planet that we live on today. Finally, it's clean up the industry that's 12 gigatons. Imagine like all of the things that we use, for example, cement, steel, high emission, hard to abate industries. Like the way that we live nowadays, where basically everything we do, we cannot live without these supporting materials to build it's the backbone of the society. And it's not to say that people should just get rid of those, but then there's a way, and there's people who are working to make that with lower emissions and how to transform the industry to decarbonize those, and so that we can live in the future that's greener, that's healthier, and that's sustainable. And last but not the least, which is something that I'm very passionate about, is remove carbon from the atmosphere. And that's outside of the 59 gigatons. So actually from the Intergovernance Panel of Climate Committee, IPCC report, it shows time and time again that no matter what we do, we need to first decarbonize everything, protect the nature, change the way that we travel, change the way that we eat. We still need to remove around 10 gigatons of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So that's a separate one. That's like we should do more in the carbon removal industry. And that's a booming industry. We'll talk about that, why I'm interested in that, maybe in future videos, and why this is a huge opportunity for everyone. If you wanted to get a career in climate, and this is the best time to jump in. You head over to the Speed and Scale website. It has each single category has a very detailed breakdown. I highly recommend to dive it deeper. We will also plan a future course, maybe on Skillshare, or maybe I will share more on this channel if people are interested. Each of these areas, if you think about it, is massive. What's more exciting is each and every single one needs people who are passionate about making impact, who are passionate about protecting the climate, who are passionate about making the future a more sustainable, healthier one for our future generation. Every single sector needs people.